Welcome to Vancouver Carpenter. Today I'm going to show you guys how I coat drywall in my natural habitat. So a lot of the time we're doing these videos where I'm explaining it the whole time, but what I want you guys to see is just the process of coating, kind of watch and learn. So what we're going to do is I'm going to coat this wall, and then I'm going to start coating the ceiling. Because most of the time the drywall videos are how to coat a butt joint, or how to coat a flat joint or corner bead. And the thing is, if you're doing a whole house and you have drying time in between, like so I coat all the butt joints and then they dry a little bit and then I come back and do all the flat joints, that works. But on a job of this size, which is maybe about like a 15 to 20 sheeter, you don't usually have time to coat everything individually. So you've got to coat it all at once, and that means sort of blending the joints into one another. And there's a bit of an art to that to get it to not have some nasty lines and lift-offs. So this is the first coat. I'm going to get my stilts on. No, not stilts yet. First we're going to coat this wall, and we're also going to get into the mud a little bit. And if you're wondering what's on my hand here, we got a little heart from my 4-year-old. Put that on last night. It has survived dishes, sleeping, you know, here it is. And I told my wife I was going to have to take it off, and she was like, no, you can't. So I live in a house with 4 women. Well, 4 females and 2 males, and so the house is ruled by women. So I got to do what she says there. It's just the way it goes. Can't break your 4-year-old's heart. Anyways, let's get right to this wall. So I'm starting with my 14-inch trowel. I've got the mud mixed fairly thick. For loading coat, you want it so that it kind of keeps its form. You can see when you pass the knife over it or take a scoop out of it, it keeps its form. So there's 2 reasons for this. One is so it keeps its form. The second is so it doesn't shrink very much. And the third is it doesn't bubble as much when it's kind of thick. All right, so let's just start on a basic flat here. Putting it kind of at the top of the trowel. And in order to not get it on the hinges, I'm having to come back this way. Feather. Feather. Oh. And it's almost done. If anything, it's a bit thin, but where it is, it'll be okay. All right, happy enough with that one. All right, now on this next one, I'm actually going to start on the corner bead. So one side, arcing up, arcing up. And I just want to make sure it's actually full. That's better. Feather the edge. And quick pass. That's that done. It's got a little bit of crusties in there. I'm just going to live with those. Now I actually even have this mud almost borderline too thin, but it's okay. I want to be careful not to mud all this stuff up too much, so I'm just going to put it on like that right here. And normally I would like it a little bit wider, but it'll be okay. Now at this point we can build it up a little bit more. Alright, what's going on here? Let's get that mud there. Okay, I'm actually going to carefully feather my edge by hand with all that right there. You know, you can't always run on automatic on these. Feather my edge. So I haven't cleaned the nose of it off yet. That's this time. And, oh, got some inset down there. I don't want that in my mud. thin set in the mud sucks. The other thing that happens is when you start sanding and there's a little bit of grit, it gets in between your sanding pole or the pad and the mud and starts leaving a whole bunch of nasty scratches. So sand in the mud is no good. I'm going a little bit wider down here because it's a baseboard. Flare it out a bit. Let's feather that and fingers. Something in the mud right there. Look at that. That's nasty. But if it was easy, everyone would do it. Alright, that is going to be good enough. And we just got this one big little trowel mark right there. Okay, I'm happy with that. It doesn't have to be perfect at this stage, it just needs to be full. And so now I'm getting the tops. I'm going to put my bench where I can hit both sides so that I'm not moving my bench around. Feather, finish pass. Feather, finish pass. So it's possible that you could even do like just load, finish pass. But the reason I don't like to do that is you have to push extra hard, pull the material out, and then you're leaving your beads a bit more hollow. Whereas when I do that quick feather, it actually pushes more mud into the deepest part of the corner bead, the deepest part of the fill. And then when I do that next pass lightly, just to clean off the nose, it leaves it pretty nice and full. So that's my method for that. On to this side. So feathering into the beads. Right, we don't want to mess this up, but it's pretty straightforward. Reorganize my mud. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to lift up there. So I went most of the way in. And now it's during the feather. This is where you tune this part up. So feather, feather. I'm lifting off right before I get into the bulk of that. One finish pass, lift up right there. So there's a little bit of extra stuff there, but we're just going to leave that. I'm not going to worry about that too much. It'll fill in on the next coat. Let's see if we can do a better job on this one though. Okay, so I'm starting from here so I can work my way in. If I start on the back side, then I have to start in the middle of my finished joint to try and feather into there. And another thing I actually forgot, part of the reason that didn't work out nice, is because I actually come from this side, like this. That's actually the way to get your mud all the way in there. So now, I'm going to feather into there, feather into there, one finish pass, lift up. So those little lines, those will sand right out and we've got a full bead and a full joint. And do we have enough to finish this flat? Probably. A little more. There we go. And you know, you see it's not as wide back here, so you can just take a bit of material, just widen up your joint so it looks a little more consistent. Feather. Feather. Finish pass. Okay, that's good. Now, onto the ceiling, but that requires stilts. And actually, I want to see how long it takes me to do a ceiling of this size. So that is all flats, butts, and screws. We'll see how long it takes me. I accidentally wiped my sticker off. I thought it was some mud on my hand and I went like that. Really disappointed. But I'm gonna time this ceiling. So starting the timer right now, see how long it takes to push the mud across this thing. Hopefully I don't have to get down and mix up more mud. I think I have enough to coat this ceiling. Okay. Butt joint number 1. I'm gonna check it real quick. Oh, that's an easy one. That one's an innie. It only needs 1 trowel width. That's why it pays to check them. I basically treated that as a flat. So you can see as I feather, I arc in and out, pass. Starting where I left off. Feather. Look at those lines whenever you're using the side of the blade that hasn't been cleaned in a minute or two. But it's only for the first one. Okay, that needs a bit more. Oh. Sometimes I just use my pant leg to actually get that clean. There we go. Live with that. So it's just those 3 basic passes on these. Alright, right here, we are going to do these both at the same time. I think I'm going to run out of mud. Let's check this one. What's this one doing? Oh yeah, that needs 2 trowel widths. And that's where I've run out. Don't walk backwards on those stilts. So it actually works better on your shoulder to always be pushing with your trowel. And I've been pulling. Bad form. Feather. Feather. That one needs a little extra help. That's by sanding. Okay. Feather. That's one of my finish passes. Float that out. Finish pass here. Float that out. One more across the surface. Okay, that looks great. Oh, garbage. I should have cleared it a bit better. It's all right. So again, once I get more in the middle of the room, I'm not going to be having to pull in such a non-ergonomic way. But right now, you know, for the video, facing the camera the right direction and all that sort of stuff, just is what it is. Feather. Feather. Finish. Okay, so we are going to just start right here on this butt joint. Let's get turned on, huh? What's this one need? Yeah, I need 2 trowel widths for sure. So I actually usually like to go a little bit past the flat like that. And just makes it look better in the long run. Okay, feather. Feather. Couple of finish passes. 1, 2. One down the middle to flatten it out. Okay, I'm happy with that. Just needs a little more love right here. There we go. More mud. Okay, so I think you guys are getting the idea about all the little nuances to feathering into and out of these joints. You know, it's about which way you come at it with your trowel. There we go. Alright, well I'm thinking you must be getting the point to how to coat a bunch of continuous joints there and tie stuff in. So it ain't rocket surgery. Yeah, that video was like gonna be 45 minutes long, so I think we'll end it there. But what I was about to get into is for the next about 10 minutes of that video, I talk about how I got into drywall. So a lot of you guys might have wondered, you know, it's called Vancouver Carpenter. Yeah, I'm a carpenter, and I talk about how I got into it in the following video. So if you guys are interested, let me know. I'll post that follow-up video shortly. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this, and till the next video.